Jack, let me just get this going here.
America, guys, America.
All right. Okay, whenever you're ready.
After people in the United States reach the age of 18, they are no longer considered juvenile. They have the right to choose their political leaders, purchase certain firearms and ammunition, and even enlist in the military. They are considered legally independent adults. However, they're denied a very simple right, the right to purchase or consume alcoholic beverages. A 20-year-old man can go legally kill people or be killed for his country, but he would be denied the right to have a beer with his dinner. These lack of rights make people under 21 second-class citizens. They are not immature children. They are grown adults that can make decisions for themselves. Many of these legally defined children are the soldiers that die for America. It is legal hypocrisy. Adults are not able to assume their full rights. The consumption of alcohol is not the issue as much as the blatant hypocrisy in our ornate legal system that denies adults fundamental rights. I'm sure that the African Americans in the civil rights movement do not mind drinking out of a less opulent drinking fountain. They demanded change because they were seen as second-class citizens. The denial of basic rights is absurd. These adults want to be treated as they should be treated. The purpose of having a legal drinking age at 21 is supposedly to protect children from the negative effects of alcohol. However, having the drinking age so high has the opposite effect on teens. Not having alcohol easily accessible has made teens tend to drink more excessively when they have had the chance. Binge drinking is very dangerous and it can lead to severe complications, which in many cases means death. Moderate consumption of alcohol can be healthy both physically and psychologically. Making alcohol illegal for people under 21 only makes it more likely that teens will drink irresponsibly. The effort to reduce the adverse effects of drinking for teens by making the drinking age 21 have failed. It is ineffective and only causes more problems. In addition, having a drinking age higher than the age where people assume many other important rights is ridiculous. People between the age of 18 and 21 are considered second-class citizens because of their age. These adults are responsible for their own actions. They are legally adults in almost every other instance. This discrimination will not be tolerated. In a society where freedom, liberty, and democracy are enjoyed and nurtured, it has become evident that certain laws and regulations are simply constructs of a government trying to assert power over a sovereign people. One of these laws, which purpose is to restrict the drinking age to 21 years of age or older, states that, quote, "It is an act to encourage a uniform drinking age of 21 to combat drunk driving, improve law enforcement, and provide incentives to states to reduce drunk driving." Well, that is a bunch of bureaucratic baloney that they are trying to embellish. It is simply a power grab by a greedy government clinging desperately to a bygone era of prohibition. With fluid facts, poignant evidence, and common sense, our side will put forth prudent reasons to support our cause.
2 minutes, 47 seconds. On.
The legal age to consume alcohol in the United States is 21. This age has been in place since the 1980s and was set for a reason. Lowering the age to 18 would be opulent, unnecessary, and in some cases dangerous. The teenage brain is still developing, and alcohol can seriously impact this development. By the age of 21, an individual's brain has developed to a point where alcohol does not have as much of an effect. The drinking age of 21 is actually saving lives, so there's no need for change. Since the age was set at 21, the number of drunk driving car accidents has decreased significantly. Lowering the drinking age will make it easier for teenagers to obtain alcohol and will not solve the underage drinking problem. It is crucial that the drinking age stays at 21 because it saves teenage lives. If something will help save lives, then why change it? The legal age and consumption of alcohol has been florid and a highly debated topic in society. People believe that the legal age should coincide with the legal age for voting and enlisting in the military, but at the same time, the recklessness of teenage drinkers and the harm drinking can wreak on one's development is powerful. In literature, teenagers are often portrayed as cool when out drinking with friends or at a party. But on the other hand, the antagonizing event often happens while under the influence. Disparity exists within Asian, European, and various countries within these regions, where the drinking age varies even more, from 21 all the way to non-existent. Some argue that the drinking age should be lowered to 18, because when someone turns 18, they're considered an adult. This argument is invalid because there are different ages appropriate for different privileges, and the drinking age needs to be set higher to ensure safety. There is underage drinking and an abundance of alcohol-related problems in today's society. So, what will lowering the age fix? Drinking is a national dilemma and is highly debated among teenagers looking to artificially embellish their lives, but should not be legalized for consumption for those under 21.
2 minutes, 20 seconds. All right, point 1, pause.
Once a person reaches the age of 18, our society treats them as an adult. It is based on the simple concept that the drinking age should be lowered. In our country, 18-year-olds have the right to vote, buy firearms, get married, and serve on a jury. These basic but fundamental principles are given to adults based on their increased maturity and intelligence. Should we restrain these same adults from their right to consume alcohol? In addition, men and women in this country can serve in the military once they are 18. Sending young men and women overseas to take lives and operate firearms is a task uncomparable to any other. There is no logical reason to support the drinking age of 21. Also, we should not support young men and women going to war but not being able to legally consume alcohol. The drinking age of 21 is supported by ostentatious and outdated legislation and should be revised.
18 is the age of consent. It is the age that a person is considered responsible enough to consent to be legally competent to sexual acts. Although, we argue that 18 is not an age where one can hold the responsibility of consuming alcohol. Therefore, at 18, one can engage in sexual matters with a 21-year-old but cannot share a drink with them. An 18-year-old can easily bring a child into the world. How does it seem reasonable that at this age, one is responsible enough to create and adequately care for another life form, but they are not responsible enough to simply have a drink? 18 is also the age that one is given the right to vote. Although many 18-year-olds are too indolent to actually go out and vote, they are still granted this significant right. They can impact both local and national elections. So, I ask you to think about how radical it is that we allow 18-year-old men and women to legally impact our nation in these ways, but we do not allow them the right to consume alcohol.
1 minute, 44 seconds. Rebuttal.
Very good.
Go.
We're not.
The statement that they're allowed to die for a country at the age of 18, but why can't they have a beer? If they drink and harm or kill themselves, they're not dying for our country. They're dying for no reason. And second, there are certain ages for everything. You can get a hunting license at 12, driver's license at 16, be able to vote, get married, serve on juries at 18, serve in the House of Representatives at 25, and run for president at 35. There's different ages for everything in all aspects of this country's politics and social norms. And with alcohol, when you're drinking at 18, your brain isn't developed. But when you're talking about sex, if you have sex at 18, your brain is going to be chemically harmed. Nothing's going to happen to your brain that's like going to chemically harm it. But with alcohol, that's another story.
49 seconds. Point 1, Con.
Underage drinking is an immense issue in college, high school, and even middle school. According to Source D, 20% of students in 8th grade report that they have been drunk at some point in their life. That means that 1 out of every 5 people in this room have been drunk before the age of 13 or 14. That is about 6 people in this room alone. Imagine your younger sister or brother at a dangerous party with alcohol and other drugs. In today's society, the ornate and opulent alcohol industry says that alcohol is not encouraged for underage drinking. But by making alcohol look fun or attractive, teenagers and children are drawn in. Right now, with the drinking age at 21, the underage drinkers are mostly ages 13 to 20. Whether underage drinking occurs between the ages 13 to 20 or 10 to 17, underage drinking will still occur, and there is definitely no upside to lowering this age. Lowering the drinking age will not by any means eliminate underage drinking. It will only cause the drinkers to be younger and younger, and that has an even worse impact. And in response to this, so many people would argue that in Europe or Asia, where the drinking age is lower, children and teenagers don't have the urge to drink. But that is just not how our society works. Teenagers here drink now and will still drink if the age limit is set to 18. The urge to drink will move to 10 and 12-year-olds when the drinking age is lowered. A 10-year-old drinking simply should not be encouraged.
1 minute, 20 seconds. Rebuttal.
So, when the law was passed in the 1980s to set the drinking age at 21, the purpose was solely to prevent car accidents. Hence, that if you did not set your drinking age at 21, your highway funding would be reduced. However, when that was passed, they also passed stricter drinking and driving laws and stricter seatbelt laws, which counts for almost about like 90% of the previous car accidents while under the influence. Like now, if you get into a car accident and you were drinking, they're gonna put like a breathalyzer in your car. And when you turn 18, you're an illegal adult, which gives you free will in this country. However, it doesn't give you the free will to choose to drink. And your brain still isn't fully developed at 21, but if you reduce your drinking so that you're not binge drinking, you're not gonna impact your brain as much, which is the point of making a younger drinking age. It's to educate younger people and make it almost a permit, like a driver's permit, to help people learn how to drink, learn what their limits are, and learn how to form good habits so they aren't ruining their brains at 21.
Okay, 1 minute. Point 2, Carl.
When one thinks of underage alcohol consumption, the first thing that comes to mind are those secret parties and places as far away from adult supervision as possible. For some, it may be those horrible stories of teens who died from alcohol poisoning. For others, a fatal crash that occurred from binge drinking because they did not know their limits. By lowering the age of legal consumption of alcohol to 18 years, adolescents would be given the opportunity to learn how to drink responsibly in a supervised and controlled environment. Most kids are still living with their parents when they turn 18, and thus they are in closer contact with someone to serve as a role model and who can show them the effects and potential consequences of their actions. Testing one's tolerance in the safety of their own home and under the guidance of someone that they can trust is much safer than doing so alone or at a party where no one is keeping an eye on them. Also, the action of drinking becomes insipid when doing so under parental supervision, and thus the luster to do so just to be rebellious is lost. At the present, most kids between the ages of 18 and 20 will consume alcohol at some point, even if not very often. With the current laws, they are forced to do so in secret. This often results in kids drinking in places where there is no supervision, and thus no one to help them if a dangerous situation were to occur. Most fatal events involving underage drinkers occur because alcohol was consumed in ridiculous quantities. This is because tolerance levels are unknown or due to the belief that another opportunity to drink might not become available. Such activities would be suppressed if the legal drinking age was lowered to 18. Drinking alcohol in a respected establishment where there are many people to aid a young person who is clearly intoxicated might prevent such horrible consequences. A listless person is more likely to be identified and offered help in a public place than in private. Additionally, kids would not be so scared to reach out for help if they or someone they knew needed it, because they would not be at risk of getting in trouble. Look to the future when you are responsible for educating and protecting your own children. Wouldn't you rather them have the opportunity to be under your influence as they learn the ins and outs of alcohol consumption?
2 minutes exactly. Rebuttal.
Lowering the age will make just kids that are even younger even more tempted to drink. And still, even at that age, kids' brains still are not developed, so they're still being hurt.
Also, people under 18, they don't drink to be social with their family or like social with their friends. They drink to get drunk. And if their parents are now, and if it's legal for them, their parents are like, okay, it's okay for you to drink, but then it's even more reckless because there's no, I have to worry about my parents like caring. Like you can just drink whatever and there's no consequences for that.
Yeah, because restrictions by law and by parents are the number one reason for why minors don't drink. So why would we make that why would we get rid of that and just tempt minors to want to drink?
And teens do drink because they feel rebellious and they want to do something against the rules.
and lowering the drinking age will make even younger kids start being rebellious at 12 or 13 instead of 16, 17, 18.
Okay, exactly a minute. Point 2, on.
It is widely believed that adolescents, namely teenagers, drink underage, not giving care to the fact that their consumption of alcohol is illegal. High school students are ostentatious in their consumption of alcohol, wanting everyone, aside from authority, to know. This generates the false appearance that everyone in high school drinks. That is not the case. According to SourceD, in 2005, 85.6% of youths aged 12 to 17 reported they strongly or somewhat disapprove of peers having 1 or 2 drinks of an alcoholic beverage nearly every day. Despite this fact, many people will argue that to lower the drinking age would make sense, saying teenagers drink anyways. If it's legalized, then they won't be destructive with it. There are individuals who don't drink as teenagers. My teammates have proven and will continue to demonstrate that drinking at a young age is physically as well as mentally destructive. For these individuals whose moral complex makes it so they don't drink at this risky age, because of the law, the drinking age needs to be capped at 21. There are many teenagers who recognize that drinking underage may lead to fatal car accidents or legal troubles and have chosen to stay at that slippery slope. They also know that early drinking increases the probability of alcoholism by almost 40%. Source A states that over the last 15 years, after the passage of the 21 minimum drinking age laws, the percentage of 8th, 10th, and 12th graders who drank alcohol in the past year decreased 38%, 23%, and 14%. This is an incredible demonstration of the moral impact of drinking age requirements. There will always be rebels who drink underage in high school and college parties with alcohol at them. But for those 8th graders who are protecting themselves from the harms of drinking, and the 10th graders saying no to peer pressure, the bulwark that their morals build in combination with the law is crucial for their futures. It also may be argued that many of these drinkers saying no are under 18 and their moral abstinence will not be affected by a lower drinking age if they're not truly drinking because it's illegal. But the closer one gets to a deadline, the more likely they are to jump ahead and take a risk, drinking at 16 or 17. The sheer quantity of underage drinkers is poignant, but it's clear that there are individuals whose moral standards protect them from this dangerous game. We need a law to protect these teenagers from the dangers of alcohol that come under the age of 21.
2 minutes. Rebuttal.
So there's no proof of younger people drinking, and you already said it yourself that 13-year-olds drink, so if you lower the age to 18, they would still drink. And allowing a younger age can set up for educating to avoid alcoholism and over-drinking. And you can already buy tobacco at 18, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to buy alcohol. And you guys also said it yourself that 1 in 5 people have drank in high school. So they do drink, and the fact that you said that not everybody drinks, that's false.
Contradictory. That's contradiction.
Okay, 36 seconds. Third point. Pro.
Moving the drinking age to 18 would be a great way to boost the economy. By having the drinking age of 21, a huge economic opportunity is being missed by the U.S. People 18 to 20 may not seem like a large market, but this age group is known as large consumers of alcohol.